What's going on, friends? People's styles and preferences change over the years, but there was a time in Harley-Davidson history that cruisers ruled the road. Now, it was almost at that time almost unthinkable to take a touring bike and use this as something to run around town on, or actually even to go bar hopping on, when cruisers were just perfect for running around town, going bar hopping, taking some day trips, and maybe even taking a little overnight trip somewhere. Well, somewhere along the line, the chopper craze really went south and things took a sharp direction in the other way. So guys, today I really want you to help me, help myself, to try to understand how this trend even got started. Do you guys remember the time when people only bought touring bikes? These were the people that absolutely went out and crushed miles on these things across multiple states, even into other countries. This was a time when nobody wanted a touring bike, and even the idea of bar hopping or running around town on a big touring bike was seriously laughable. Now, Harley-Davidson played a huge part in this turning point, in my opinion, in 2007 when they released the Street Glide. Now, keep in mind that the Road Glide had been around since 1998, but in my opinion here, the Road Glide was very much overshadowed by the chopper craze at the time. But man, as soon as that chopper craze ended, things took a dramatic turn in the complete opposite direction. Guys, please don't forget, if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. Now, many of you may remember that the chopper craze, this was probably absolutely fueled by all the TV shows going on at the time. And during that time, you were either riding some crazy customized chopper, or you were more than likely on just your basic standard Harley-Davidson cruiser. Now back then, it was all Sportsters, Dynas, Softails, and if you rode a touring bike, especially at a bike night or to the bar, that bike stuck out like a sore thumb in that sea of just regular old cruisers. Now today, it seems like everybody went from riding cruisers to basically huge Harley-Davidson touring bikes. And today, if you ride a cruiser, you might be hard-pressed to find your motorcycle in the parking lot because of all the large touring bikes out there now. So where Harley-Davidson changed the game was with the Street Glide. They came out with the Street Glide, they stripped down the lighting, the tour pack, a lot of the other unnecessary things, lightened it up a little bit, but they still kept the stereo. And ever since the Street Glide came out in 2007, we have seen less and less cruisers on the road and more street glides, road glides, even full-on touring bikes like the Ultra. Now that's when things really started to get crazy with the custom bagger scene. We started seeing stretch bags, stretch tanks, wild paint jobs, big, huge, massive stereos all over these things, air ride. Even the TV shows kind of picked those up a little bit for a while. As I mentioned, things went in the complete opposite direction of what the chopper craze was doing. So what happened here? All of a sudden, riding a big touring bike to the bars and bike nights and around town, this became the thing to do, and then you looked a little weird if you were just riding a cruiser up there. Now, Harley-Davidson absolutely loved this because these were their most expensive models. These were also their most profitable models, and even though now the custom bagger scene has really kind of cooled off, the popularity of still riding a bagger, a large touring bike, this still remains. Now, I will admit, in some ways, this makes sense now. These are a lot more functional than what the choppers were. The Harley-Davidson touring bikes have really become kind of the Swiss Army knife of motorcycles. People are doing anything and everything on these bikes today. Now, I'm not knocking choppers. They do have their place. But the Harley-Davidson touring bikes, these really have more functionality and rideability. Not to mention, they're just absolutely infinitely more comfortable. Now, custom baggers from about 10-15 years ago, a lot of these are actually still on the road today. Now, don't get me wrong, they've more than likely been chopped up a little bit. When I say chopped up, they were made more rideable. Less show, more go, maybe some shorter bags on them, because, you know, everybody got a little crazy with the stretch bag thing. Maybe kind of just tuned them down a little bit to where you could actually ride them and not worry about having to drag a bag off, just trying to make a little turn in a parking lot. And in my mind, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm really happy to see a lot of the custom baggers still on the road and not just absolutely getting scrapped. Now, on the other hand, when it came to all the custom choppers out there, a lot of them carried a price tag well into the six figures. Now, fast forward about 20-25 years, these bikes were now selling for anywhere from maybe $8 to $15, maybe $20,000. And I'm being pretty generous at $20,000 for the simple fact that really nobody wanted them anymore. Now, when it came to all the high dollar custom choppers and the fact that really nobody wanted them, there's a lot of people out there that wanted them, but they didn't want them to ride them. They wanted them for one thing, and that was the powertrain in these bikes. Pretty much all these custom choppers came with a well-built, high horsepower engine, mated to usually a very nice built transmission. And you could buy an entire chopper already outfitted with these units a lot cheaper than you could buying them individually. And not to mention the choppers themselves, they were pretty low miles just for the fact that they were more for show than to be ridden, in my opinion. And also, when you bought the whole bike, you had wheels, you had gas tanks, you had seats. There was a lot of little heres and theres with these bikes as well. So it made sense to get the engine and transmission out of them. You got wheels. You got a lot of custom parts on there that you could sell. That's a lot of times why you'll see a lot of these really pretty painted up chopper frames for sale out on the internet. It really is sad to see a motorcycle like that had a lot of time, effort, and labor put into it just completely get stripped down and parted out. But you know, man, that's just the way it is. I'm sad to say that, but it is what it is. Because literally, once the popularity of the chopper craze wore off and everybody moved on to the baggers were just so much more functional, so much more rideable. Even if they were heavily customized, you could still go out and ride these things all day because a lot of them still had air ride. They had a lot of neat stuff on them. So guys, I really want to hear your thoughts and opinions as to why the baggers became so infinitely popular and why they continue to be so popular today, and Harley-Davidson is just selling them left and right. Well, maybe not the new ones, at least not how they would like to, but they're still selling pretty good compared to everything else. Now, to be honest with you, buying a bagger today really makes sense if you've looked at the price of the new Softails. If you were to go out and buy a new Softail, it really doesn't matter which one it is. By the time you put bags, windshield, added a stereo, done a lot of these things that the baggers come with bone stock right from the factory, it's going to put you well up there in the price range of just getting a full-on touring bike. Heck, even in the used market, the price of a lot of Dynas and Softails now, they are right there with the price of a fully loaded touring bike, even on that used market. So guys, this has been on my mind for a really long time. I mean, with so many great Dynas, Sportsters, and Softails out there, and all I'm seeing out on the road is mainly touring bikes these days. It's kind of sad to me. I'd love to see some more variety out there, but mainly the touring bikes, can't deny they're pretty dominant out on the roads today. So guys, let me know your opinion down there. What do you feel about all the touring bikes? How do you feel about that? How everything being on the road is mostly touring these days. But anyhow guys, that's all I've got for you this week. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. But till next week guys, you stay safe on the streets, ride smart, dodge those cars. I'll catch you guys back here next week with a brand new video. Thanks for watching.